YouTube and welcome to this episode of the Gunman Raw. So today we've got this Skoda Fabia front rear bumper, bonnet and painting both of the guards here. So I've got all the prep work done obviously, I've prep sold it, I've tack ragged it and we're going to get straight up to the wet on wet stage. Using my Skoda 4600 Extreme DBR Titania 1.3 XL. First thing in the morning today, Wednesday morning, as of recording this video. This car here is actually a car yard job. You may notice that there is loads of stone chips, well there was, so many stone chips in this bonnet. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera off when I'm doing the bumpers, just to stop the video from getting too long. Rightio guys, back to this job here. So as you can see, I got the wet on wet down, and yeah, you can pretty easily see why I covered up the fenders or the guards when I put the wet on wet down. There would have been no blends left. Now when I was doing the color matching on this one, I did a couple of different spray out cards on different colored spray out cards. So we've got, I think it's like 6 different spray out cards, and they range from this color, which is the closest to black we've got, all the way up to like a very light gray, which again is the closest to white we've got, and everything in between. So when I did the color matching on this one, I noticed that when I was using the dark gray, so not this one, like the next one up, the color was a little bit light, so I did a different spray out card on the dark gray, on the black, and it was really good. So yeah, that's why I decided to use the black one. So yeah, some of the colors on this PBG Enviro base, they really don't cover that well compared to the Stando Blue, which is what I was used to before coming here. Yeah, the coverage definitely isn't that good, but not the end of the world, man. So yeah, I think I mentioned before, but this is a just a car yard job, so I'm not expecting it to come up perfectly, but I mean, in a perfect world, I would have primed all these parts because they were actually really bad. I'm not sure if you noticed before I put the wet on wet down. You may not have, because I didn't really show much of it, but there was. It took me legit an hour to fix all the stone chips in that bonnet. Like, that's how bad it was. And again, because I didn't prime it, like sandable prime it, I can't even guarantee that I got them all. There's probably a few that I missed. And one thing that I did notice when I was putting the wet on wet down was that, because it's a car yard car, they put silicone, and I could feel it all over the car. Because they put that silicone tire gloss or whatever all over the cars, it ends up in all of the stone chips. So when I put it down, like, when I put the wet on wet down, it was like starting to open up like silicone fish eyes. So hopefully they've sort of melted in, and that's the last we're gonna see of it, but we'll just have to see how we go. I actually ended up giving that wet on wet a 10-minute bake because, for one, because I put it down so heavy, because I put that extra heavy coat down. So I put the one coat down, then I looked at it and I'm like, nah, I needed to put another wet coat over the top to sort of fill some of the fish eyes up. So yeah, as I said, I gave it a 10-minute bake, and hopefully we'll be all right. But it's nice and dry now. And it's one thing I do love about this wet on wet. I know I've said it heaps, but I love how smooth it is. I can even just feel like there's no roughness to it. You can probably even just tell, like, just the sheen that you get off it. It's a nice sort of satin, nice smooth texture to it. You don't have that yeah, that rough texture like you do with some of the wet on wet primers. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, I'm not really a fanboy for much these days, you know, like spray guns, paint. It's just I'm just happy to tell you the strong points and the weak points, and you guys make up your own decision. I'm not like here to shill for one company over the other, because I don't really care what you guys buy. I actually started doing the masking here, and then I nicked my masking flicked up. I'm like, nah, that's part of the reason also that I hit bake for 10 minutes. But it's all good. I went out and I got the color sorted for my next color, so there was no real downtime. I didn't really lose any time. I've got another similar color Subaru sitting out there waiting for me to paint this afternoon. I think it's like a WRX Impreza, but similar type color than this. So I found the color, mixed it up, and that's ready to go. I will actually have to spray that out. I'll probably do another raw video on that one too. So that'll probably be coming in the next couple of days. I hope you guys have been enjoying all the raw vids. I know loads of people have, so that's why I keep making them. It's definitely not for the money. Like, one of these videos is lucky to make me $5, so if you do want to support the channel, go buy yourself a new Gunman suit, man. These things are awesome. I just got myself a new one as well, so yeah, go get yourself a Gunman suit. That's the best way to support the channel. There's actually loads of other merchandise up on the website too. There's a link in the description of the video if you want to have a look. So yeah, that all goes to Spray Guns Direct website, and then you can buy it from their website, and it's just easy because they've got all the infrastructure to ship worldwide. Like, obviously they do their spray gun business, and it's not that much of a big deal for them to just, you know, take the orders and deal with the deliveries and that. Whereas for me, sometimes, I don't know, it was getting really expensive for shipping to send stuff around the world. So I think they get better rates on the shipping. And as I say, they've just got better infrastructure as well. Like, it's what they do, so yeah. That aside, we're ready to, actually I needed to fix that up. It's actually not that bad. It's sort of flowed in. You can barely even feel it. The profile is very low, so it's not going to take much to give this a quick scuff back. While I've got it in my hand, I might even see if there's anything else that needs a bit of a scuff, but it doesn't look too bad, to be honest. It doesn't look too bad. No. As you can see, though, it's nice and dry, sort of powdering up. I've been using these, what are they called, microfiber cloths, with very good results. I've finally gone and got myself a bit of a system going on. So I did that on Monday actually. So I got myself just a couple of boxes and I taped them to the wall in the paint mixing room. I've got clean ones and dirty ones. So I just use a clean one always on blend panels. I might reuse them on panels that I'm doing full color over. Might grab a, you know, a previously used one, but always like to get a new one for the blend panels. I did have a few people telling me that they use these microfibers as tack rags. I did try that a couple of times. It wasn't too bad, but ultimately I decided that I prefer tack rags for my final tack. I just think they give them a little bit of a better clean down, but hey, I tried it. But yeah, I am loving these microfibers. I think they do leave the panels a lot cleaner, and as I mentioned in other videos, I think part of the reason I didn't get onto them earlier is I didn't realize that you could clean them out with such good results, you know. So I just take them out the back in the wash bay, spray degreaser on them, and I've got like a couple of pegs, spray degreaser on them, high pressure cleaner, flip it around the other side, high pressure cleaner, and then give them a real good wring out, and they're dry in no time. If you do need them dry in a hurry, you can sort of hang them up in the booth while you're doing a bake or something. But we're coming into summer, so yeah, it's really not that big of a deal. So that's us, ready to go for a bit of a tack rag now. did add a bit of a tack rag over. Usually I wouldn't tack rag my wet on wet, but because we did that sanding, we've done a bit of prep work. I just want to make sure there's no dust on there. But it feels nice and clean. It really does. Nice and smooth and nice and clean. All right, right to go. Get my gloves on, wherever they are, somewhere. Here they are. They must have gone back to the old formula, the old mixture with these Colag gloves. They're back to being ultra strong again. They used to be so strong, and then they tweaked the formula, they must have, and then they would bust apart in the thinners. But they've tweaked it back, they've gone back to the old formula, and these things, they last forever. Like, you can use the same pair of gloves, reuse them again and again. So yeah, they're a bit thicker. I love these Colag gloves, they're awesome. Same brand as my spray suit, Colad spray suit. Sorry about that, guys, sorry about the hold up. Alright, let's keep moving. So ProLite P21.3, the gun's a bit dirty there because I was doing the colour matching with this yesterday. But it'll spray fine, no biggie. First coat, 25 PSI. Full fluid. And I've actually wound it down in half a turn. You don't have to do that, but I just started doing it and it's been working well. It's actually not covering too bad over that dark primer there. Just trying to keep that colour away from our door. First coat, nice and wet. Trying to get as much coverage as we can with this first coat. This first coat is the one that takes longer to dry. Second and third coats don't take that long at all. But because they're putting it on so wet, it does obviously take a little bit longer to dry. I'll be back here for the second coat. As I said, I'll do these bumpers while I'm not recording. Alright, time for the second coat. Drop the pressure down by 5 PSI. Wind the fluid in by half a turn. Pretty straightforward, and you can see here that's still quite see-through, whereas that's not too bad. So that's the difference in between the light primer compared to the dark primer, like what I was mentioning earlier. No cut through, sometimes you get them down here. It's all good. So as you probably noticed, we're not going as heavy with the second coat. Heavy with the first coat, medium with the second coat, and sort of more of a drop coat for the last coat. So I'll see you guys back here when we're ready for the third coat.
Alright, ready for the last coat. Same thing, half a turn in on the fluid, drop the pressure by 5 psi. Just to give you guys an idea on how much base coat I used on this job, 1.1 litre, so 1100 mils. So the bumpers, they're about 350, bonnet, same thing, 350, and not much for the guards. Pretty much use whatever's left over for the guards, you know. So yeah, 3 to 350 generally for bonnet. But bonnets and bumpers, depending on how they cover, how big they are. Same thing with bonnets, 3 to 350. I'm going to put an extra coat just over here because that wasn't covering as well as the rest of it. Just because we had that lighter primer there. That should do it. Alright, I'll see you guys here when we're ready to clear. Alright, clear coat time. I've got the clear in the gun over there. I'm just going to give these blends a quick tack rag. Just to make sure we haven't got any sort of like sand piling or sand pits. It should be fine. But you can see there's a little bit of blue overspray there. The PPG LVC 136 is the clear coat that I'm using. I'm using the Pro Light TE20 1.3, Gunny's old favourite, good old faithful. 2 bar pressure, full fluid. Well, 1 turn in I think, yeah, sorry, half a turn in on the fan. I actually like to drop the pressure down just a little bit on bonnets and stuff like that. I'm using medium reducer and the thinning ratio is 0.8. So with this LVC 136 you've got 3 choices with your reducer. You can go 0.6, 0.8 or 0.1. What does that mean in percentage? Honestly, I don't know. PPG is pretty stupid when it comes to mixing ratios. They don't just give you a percentage, so I haven't sat down and done the math. So this is like, you can mix it up at 0.1, which is really too thin, I found. I tried doing it once, and I didn't like it. There wasn't enough body to the clear. 0.6 is too thick, so I found 0.8 instead, a happy medium. But 0.8, I don't know, it's like, I like to do it as a 2 coat. So I like to put a coat on, give it 5 or 10 minutes, and then put another coat on. So what I'm going to do is go out and clean the base coat gun out, and I might even do a spray out for that next colour that I was telling you guys about, and then I'll be back here in sort of like 5 or 10 minutes. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Rightio guys, ready for that last coat of clear. So as I said before, I cleaned out my base coat gun and then did a couple of different spray outs, and this is the difference in the ground colour. So that's the darkest we got, and so I think that's 6 and that's 5 or something. They've got numbers, but you can see the lighter one here, like the colour really changes, like the shade of grey, it really changes the final colour match. But so that's after an extra coat of base coat too. So you know how I do my 1, 2, 3 coats? I doubled up on the final coat, and it's still sort of half transparent. So that way I can look at the car, have a look at those 2 colour cards, and I'll know which ground coat to use on the bumpers, because I've got a bumper off that car that's going edge to edge. same thing, like, I'm going to go out, clean this gun out. I'm not going to go and hit bait straight away on the boost. I'm going to give it like minimum 5, so from 5 to 10 minutes to sort of gas out before I go and hit bait. Yeah, I mean, these PPG clears are good, but I just don't think they're quite as good as the standoff ones. Standoff ones just seem to flow out a little bit nicer. I don't know, let us know your thoughts. If you've used both of the systems, PPG EnviroBase and Stando Blue, let us know what you think's better. I think half of it is that the base coat goes down so much nicer. Because the base coat goes down so smooth with your standoff, but the clear kind of follows that. But that's actually not too bad. I mean, it's pretty clean really. There's a couple of chunkers in it, but got to keep that detailer busy, mate. Got to keep them in a job. Anyway, I'll flick that cam off and I'll give you guys a look over it once I'm done on the bumpers. Rightio guys, that's a wrap. So there's the Gunman gun, TE20 1.3 for the win, baby. Pretty nice colour really. I reckon I've nailed those video settings too. I reckon I've got rid of the flickering. Let me know what you guys think. I do apologise about some of those videos in the last couple of weeks, but I was just trying a few different things with the settings, but what I ended up finding is 2.7K was better. So 2.7K, 50 frames per second at the standard bitrate. That's the settings, and no flickering. So there you guys go. It's actually pretty clean really. I'm pretty happy with that. Rightio guys, now you've seen this video, get out there and paint some shit and buy yourself some Gunman merch. Woo!